Um, let's see here if we're live. And I'll let you guys. It's starting. The stream health is healthy. The stream is offline. Ooh, YouTube says I'm live. Woohoo! And you are live. Alrighty.
It's
So
alive.
it's a live. Okay. Hello there, and welcome to the Drax Files Radio Hour with Joe Yardley. And we are live. We're streaming live, and this is the year-end show of the Drax Files. Can I get a round of applause from the audience? Do we have an audience? Oh my God, we have an audience! It's unbelievable. It is
That's all our
unbelievable.
listeners.
Um, so
I see a horse. There's a horse.
what? You see
Hello.
a horse?
Yeah.
I see a horse. I see Avaril Falcon. All right,
It's a
so
unicorn.
right, it's
I
a
finally
unicorn.
got the screen
Sort of.
working,
It's like
so
a
I'm not
narwhal.
any.
Jesus Christ,
When does the
this is why I never do live. This is why I never do live shows with Ardwin because he's closing the curtain while we're live.
It's not
All right.
me. It wasn't me.
Okay, so this is the Drax Files Radio Hour with Joey Yardley, and we are live. And this is the year-end show, so this is the first week of December. But we are uh, not continuing the show because we need a break, and we're gonna have a rerun. So this is the
We
last
do?
one. Yes, for
Oh.
the rest of the year. We might be doing something for New Year's. Let's see. So the the show title today is this is the show is entitled "The State of Second Life," the state of SL, and we're streaming on YouTube, and I think the YouTube URL is gaming.youtube.com/dragster/live. So let me introduce from left to right, stage left, uh, the guests, or let the guests introduce themselves. Arden Schwartzman, who are you and why are you here?
Hello.
Hello. I'm here because you asked me to. I'm here because it's always fun. And well, actually, you lured me in because your question for this show was, is this the end of SL?
Ah,
And I
yeah,
found that
right.
rather.
That's right. Is
So
this the end of SL? Because
The sky is falling.
is the sky
yeah.
falling? The sky may be falling in real life. So we were going to be.
And I didn't
The
know
rest
that, so
of
I
the
came here to
universe.
inform myself.
Wait a minute. You didn't know that the sky was falling? The sky's been falling
Yeah.
for over 10 years in Second Life. When,
Yeah. Well, since November the 8th, a lot of stuff has happened. So be this general
this
feeling that stuff is coming to an end. So
this is a
What happened
post.
November 8th?
Yeah, I don't
hmm?
remember. I don't. I have short-term memory loss. But we'll talk. We'll ask some other guests what happened November 8th. I heard that this is a post November 8th world, but who knows? I mean, we live in a virtual world where it's all about purchasing shoes. So this might refer to
Well,
something that we're not familiar with.
for
Joe,
me, it's always 1929, so I don't care.
we know that. So
Ah, Election Day, November 8th. I get it.
Joe,
You knew it was
Joe, I
whole
have
world.
and we want to incorporate the audience here in the room as well. And Kevin said, what did you say? Drax has PTSD. I have post-Trump stress disorder. That is correct. Joe, you don't need any introduction. We know who you are. You're a 90-year-old woman from Berlin. And
I'm 40.
then we have our good friend Strawberry Singh here. Strawberry, why don't you introduce yourself? Um, you are very little known in Second Life. I don't think anybody knows you. So who are you
Well,
and why are
I
you here?
try. I don't know why I'm here. Why am I here, Drax? I'm Strawberry Singh. I'm just the blogger and mostly about fashion, and I like to talk about different topics in SL and sometimes politics, and that gets me in trouble. But
Yeah,
it's all good fun.
we'll talk a
I
little
like
bit
your
about
blog.
that. Be,
Oh, thank you.
on,
you might make nice pictures.
I can't read.
so Strawberry
Oh, I
and
have pictures.
You're
Straw,
from 1922, so
let's get through these introductions and then you guys can talk over each other. I don't care. I'm gonna keep drinking. But let me ask you, Strawberry. So if I were to follow you on Twitter and I go like, "Hey, Strawberry Singh is a really great fashion blog, and she has really great instructional videos, and she like keeps me posted on like the new stuff that's happening with mesh heads," and then I say, "Hey, I'm gonna follow her on Twitter," and all of a sudden
Oh, you shouldn't.
there is some real life political garbage there where you accuse certain individuals that just want to make America great again of being sort of misogynist and really mean. I mean, what's up with that,
What can
Strawberry?
I do? I'm a sore loser and I'm a hater. What can I do?
I know. I mean, it's all about because you guys lost, right?
Right.
Where does the hate come from? Why are you so angry?
I'm just full of so much venom. What can I say?
Yeah, self-hating. Um,
Yeah.
so
3 million illegal voters.
okay, let's move on to Cube, please. Those introductions, and then we dive right in. Cube Inada, I'm really thrilled that Cube is here because Cube has been in Second Life for over 10 years, um, but he hasn't been in for about 2 years. Cube, please introduce yourself. Who are you? What are you doing here or elsewhere?
Actually, it's more than 10 years. Real life, Larry Rosenthal's my name, and I think I was actually some of the early prototypes, like in 2003 or so, but
Ah,
or earlier. I've been doing design, virtual worlds, augmented reality, VR, whatever you call it, 3D, for I don't know, forever, and I'm back to continue to keep doing it forever because either I'll die soon or my avatar will keep going.
and you
So
have such, I mean, your sense of humor is to me, and we live on different time zones. You live on Second Life time zone. I live in the European time zone, and when I get up, I look at the stuff that you post on Twitter, and it's a very dry humor that I really
yes,
cherish. And I think your profile says VR looks. We know the future of VR, and it looks like an '80s sitcom or something. So, it just a nutshell.
yeah.
We go into this in more detail, but what is your sense of this crazy VR hype right now?
Uh, I've lived through all of them. I mean, I literally was there in '92, when the first VR bubble hit, and Carmack was showing Doom in New York, and uh, so I've lived through, like, I guess, four different 3D, real-time 3D bubbles. My background's industrial design, so I've always been world building. This is the one that's going to stick, I think, for a while, only because the amount of money that's come into it. There's too It's too big to fail, as they say in the United States,
Hmm.
which of course maybe isn't always true. But I just think that the technology, the inexpensive LEDs, the screens that came, and more importantly AR, the next generation of merging virtual, images with reality, will continue. So I think this one's going to continue. I think though it's not going to be as quickly and as hopedly as Oculus and HTC Vive-ish as everybody thinks.
We have a curtain problem here that they probably don't have with an Oculus and an
Yeah.
HTC Vive. So while the world is moving on with VR, we in Second Life still have to deal with curtains that close, and we don't know what the heck is going on. But we don't care because we have people and we have our friends in here, and that's why we're not gonna leave. So
Yeah.
Nadine, I think I posted on Twitter. Please, show of hands if you want to come on this live show. If you have, if you enjoy Second Life and if Second Life changed your life. Um,
Yes.
Nadine, introduce yourself.
Um, Hi, I'm Nadine. I'm here because of what you just said. I answered on your post on Twitter. And yeah, Stack Life changed my life literally. Uh,
In what
yeah.
way?
Um, let's say I was a girl with the body of a guy, and thanks to Second Life, I have more chance to train my voice and act like a girl and Last year I had big surgery and I'm fully myself now. So that's how Second Life kind of changed my world.
That's when I hear your story, and this is something that is to me so important. Obviously, with the video series, I'm trying to focus on these stories. Are you thrilled because we're diving into the subject matter? Second Life is important to you. It's a world. It's very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we live in this virtual reality hype, and one aspect of the virtual reality hype that I'm concerned about is that this anonymity and the pseudonymity and the fact that we can um, be who we truly think we are by
Mm-hmm.
representing through the avatar seems to me, at least all the advertisement that you see, is kind of secondary. It looks like the Facebook model is winning, where all of a sudden our avatars are going to be sort of the representation of our physical selves, like 100%, and this all this sort of reinventing ourselves and being playful with identity is kind of falling by the wayside. How do you see this? Are you concerned about, or are you following this development at all, or?
I am not concerned because I always think you are what you think you are and what you feel you are.
Hmm.
I'm a 90-year-old woman,
Yeah, but
Yes, there.
but not in reality.
Yeah.
I'm just
I think it's all going to matter on,
expressing the.
again, what the platforms, what are these things for? What type of communication? Are we
Mm-hmm.
playing? Are we doing business? Are we, what kind of trust are we trying to create in each different environment? And, in the past, again, because of Second Life being so dominant in one way, we've only had one place to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that will change with maybe web VR or something that will allow different platforms to emerge.
This is a topic that I'm passionate about, and we talk a lot about, and maybe listeners are kind of getting tired of me saying this, but I do feel that a lot of the this is happening across platforms, and it's related to trolling and all this kind of stuff, that people say, oh, we can't afford the anonymity, and and then Facebook purged thousands of Second Life avatars because of their real name policy. Of course, the irony is that turns out that,
Twitter just did it.
right, but they're making really good money with fake news and all this kind of stuff. But any other who wants who wants to jump in about where they see the future
Or
of.
entertainment. I mean, that's the question.
Right.
What is the purpose of Twitter? So, are they entertaining us or are they doing news? I mean, fake news has been the National Enquirer and Weekend Update for 30 years, 40 years. It's, Bigfoot meets, Dracula, fake news.
Mm,
But
What
now all
I've
of a
been,
sudden, our real
what I've been,
news is taking over and running with those stories for their own ratings as well.
mm.
what I've been reading over the past months now, that fake news has caught on tremendously, and one of the biggest motives for people spreading this kind of news is actually just plain commercial. They were actually getting advertising money out of it. And,
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is that it's that money. I mean,
yeah.
CNN is no longer the CNN that was in the 80s or the 90s. It's run by Jeff Zucker. Jeff Zucker, he came from NBC television. They have a different model too now to compete with Fox and others. I mean, you know, it's a shame. I mean, there is, in the United States at least, very few places on television medium now that actually do journalism or even begin to fake it doing journalism. They all
But
now
what
do
happened to
fake
what
news.
happened to journalism, like what we were used to, for instance, like the Washington Post at the time of Bernstein and what's the other guy, Woodward?
Woodward, Bernstein, Woodgate.
They weren't allowed to publish anything until
Be-
every fact
because of,
was heavily
because of
checked.
Bradley. They had an editor. That was the difference. Is that Bill Bradley
Mhm.
was the editor.
We don't
Is
need no stinking editors. Sorry.
you,
Let me
you,
jump in
you,
here.
you
I'm
do actually.
I'm
That's
I
really the
know.
problem.
I know. I'm the moderator. We need moderators because otherwise this is just gonna be a trolling session. Look at these guys.
Yeah, go for it.
They hijack the Drax Files radio hour and they talk about real life.
Already.
Unbelievable,
That's
Joe.
because you have no biological overbalance.
How did we
Biological
get to
overbalance.
Watergate?
What the heck?
We need someone in charge here to make sure that everyone does exactly as we say.
Okay,
Right,
That's
Jack?
Electron.
let me just say that, audience, please post your comments. I'm gonna glance at the comment
Mhm.
stream and your questions. Just post them there, and I'll try to put that in there. Uh, I love it. Let's keep that discussion going. But first, I want to ask specifically also Strawberry what I asked Nadine. Strawberry, would you hypothetically be interested in a virtual world or in a VR world in the future that would force you to um, to have the physical representation of real life? In other words, you let's say you had to scan in your real life face, and that would be your avatar's face. Is that something that you would be interested in? Is it something that you're concerned about, that the train is heading towards that direction with all the competitors? What do you think about that?
I'm not really concerned about it. I think it's more of a privacy issue. Like, I would be worried who else I'm interacting with.
Hmm.
And, well, I mean, it was just like reality. You go out in the world, you don't know who you're going to meet and what's going to happen. Same thing's going to happen with VR. I don't know if I would be as willing to get so involved in a VR experience like that where I would have to share my real life information, my face, so forth. I might use it occasionally, but it's not something that I would probably get deeply involved in or something.
And I think this
Or
is
I
a
would
really
use it for
good point.
working purposes, not for entertainment purposes.
Right, and
Yeah, and
this
family stuff.
yeah, and this is a
Yeah,
common thread that
exactly.
we have here, that this sort of re-engineering the social norms, and all anonymity and pseudonymity is bad, with the Zuckerberg model. Um,
It's not bad at all. It's actually a
yep,
lot safer
exactly.
in certain situations.
Yep.
Again, I think
Yeah.
the idea of having multiple avatars and multiple platforms, uh, multiple faces. We wear multiple hats in life. We'll have to wear multiple hats
I
Mm.
have lots of
in
hats.
Some
virtual. There
people
you
wear
go.
a Santa hat. Nadine wanted to jump in here. Nadine, go ahead. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think that the anonymity, of course, you should not share too much real life information on a platform as Second Life or anything. I mean, you never know what kind of people it attracts.
Mm. Mm. But that's
Well,
Well,
exactly.
rumors mostly.
But
Hmm?
the proponents of the real name thing, which is obviously a scheme to make money,
That's
they
money.
exactly.
Yeah.
But they would say, but the way they sell it, they say, oh, we by knowing everyone, we create that trust, and then we cut down on the trolling and on the harassing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
we
It's
have
like
to
with
think
net.
Facebook.
about
That's like with
civic
net
engagement.
neutrality that it would be a better internet then.
Yeah, with Facebook and Google, it's only money, money, money. That's true.
Well, but
And we're the
that's
product.
driving the internet still. I mean, again, we there needs to be a decision of what's civic, what's local, what's national, what's international, and also what's entertainment, and what's the difference between play and what we don't what the individual doesn't consider play, and that's
Hmm.
really the key.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I want to read a couple of comments here. James is here. Eliastra, the amount of research that's. Wait a minute. He says the cool thing about SL. One of my favorite aspects of SL is the mixing of social norms and social non-norms. All right, Eliastra, does that mean you go to a brothel on Sunday and to church on Monday? I don't know what that means. Kelvin D. Well, that's all
One would be
possible.
surprised.
Wow.
I mean, that's real life, right?
Who
Right,
doesn't?
I was talking about
Yeah,
his real life,
I
Joe.
do.
And
Except for
But
church,
Well,
except for
Joe, a
church
little too
part.
much information.
Joe, that's too much information.
a
Well,
small.
I just go there to
We're
play chess and things.
Right.
Right.
Okay, I admit I've never been to church.
Just a jopium.
Kelvin D. Kramer says, oops, I lost that thread. How something that is perceived as abnormal in one's real life society can be accepted as normal enough in Second Life. And
Well,
Eric
that's
Mo.
also because Second Life
Yeah.
is small. Remember, this is a smaller community based on the entire world. I mean, now again, the VR bubble you're worried about is one that's trying now to mainstream
Yeah.
virtualizing technologies in 3D. So all of a sudden, billions others are going to come, want, are going to play or going to come in, and that's going to change, what people look at. People again, what they look at this technology is doing for them or
Yeah.
against them. Will the overall will change, but again, there'll be. That's why I say it looks like television. Television is not one thing. It's sports, it's entertainment, it's news, or so it was. And I think that's what this will be.
So are
It
you
feels
guys?
like a hype.
Yeah, Arden, I was just gonna get there because cubes, you said billions of people, and that sounds like Philip Rosedale 2006. Billions of people, and again, I mean, I would love
He's
to.
right.
Yeah, but Joe, do you
There,
mean that this VR, and Cube already said it, but Joe, do you think that VR this time will catch on at that level of magnitude?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why?
Absolutely. It's going to change everyone's lives. It's
Uh
very
huh.
simple because it works. This time it actually works and it's affordable. And, if you know the kind of potential virtual
Ah,
reality
thousand
has,
dollar Vive is
um,
affordable. Hmm.
I don't know.
Tell that to
Well,
a
well,
now
Syrian
there's
refugee.
more than just a
price
five.
will go down, I'm sure.
Yeah,
forget
indeed. And,
about what's on now with
we
Vive
are
and
now we are now in the television in the 1950s when when we're talking about television. Only a few people have it. It's very exciting. There's only a few shows, but it's magical. It is fascinating. It's interesting, and we know where television went. It's went kind of big.
Mm.
Yeah, and it went kind of
But
bad.
everyone was skeptical, and everyone said, people will stop reading.
And actually,
I'm
they
still skeptical.
and actually they did stop reading. Statistically speaking, they watch Fox.
Or
How many people?
videos, or whatever.
How many people read a book? Well, I do. Joe, thank you for setting this up for me. So this is what I say
You're
every
very
single
welcome.
show. I read paper books. Now let me ask you guys.
Me too.
See,
I look
Nadine, and
close.
we have so much in common. Let's get out of here, Nadine. This is boring me. No, but
Right.
What if we read on our Kindles though?
No, that
that's
doesn't count.
acceptable. No, it is. It's
No,
where's the
acceptable.
alcohol?
I don't know how mainstream it'll get this VR thing because seriously, this big thing. It's still a big thing you're wearing on your face, and
Hmm.
are you going to sit
Again,
there for hours with that thing
I've
on your
already
although
I've
face?
things
already done that.
change,
You,
all
I've
so
done
those will
what
Second
do you
change.
do?
Life
You sit on the
with
desk
the
chair
DK1.
and
No, I
Mhm.
stood behind the bar doing happy hour, talking to my friends from all over the world, serving drinks, chatting,
Okay.
and I could do that for over an hour, and that was with the DK1 in Second Life, which is far from perfect for VR. And just because it was lots of fun.
But your face didn't get all sweaty and
No,
no,
I
no
don't do
nausea or
sweaty
anything.
faces.
Arjun is raising a good point, and Cube wanted to jump in. Let me throw in that I also feel it feels uncomfortable after a short while with wearing the headsets. Cube, you were jumping
Sure,
in
but
there
these things will
because
change.
how will they change?
Well, I mean, again, we're defining
Like
things
everything.
again. So, literally as VR, AR, Second Life, virtual world. Forget all definitions for a moment. Uh, Again, through contact lenses, through glasses that use light fields into the retinas, things that Magic Leap and others are working on. It'll be as the, the virtual images will be able to live in reality, in the rooms with us. Uh, at the same time, we'll be able to occlude as much as we need of the real world, so it becomes more and more virtualized. It's not going to be Second Life. It's not going to be driving third-person avatars around. It may be something different, but it's going to be again virtualized technology, and it will again the numbers will be the same kind of numbers that have cell phone adoption today. I
Mm.
mean, if the PC
Absolutely.
revolution is 30 years old already, it wasn't until the cell phone and the smartphone and the last 8 years that worldwide adoption took place of
And this
people
is this
having
is my cue
computers.
to say that I don't have a phone. Right, Drax?
Right. Right. This is the cue for Joe to say that she doesn't have a cell phone. So let's recap
I don't
here.
have a cell phone.
20 minutes into the
Ironically,
Me
show.
I
too.
didn't also. When I lived, the first 10 years of Second Life, when I was even though I was in Berkeley and I was in California, I didn't use a cell phone for a lot of the 2000s because I didn't need one because most of the people I knew were online and it was through email.
Mm.
Uh, but then when I had to enter the real life for a while, I needed a cell phone because everybody else was communicating on cell phones, and it wasn't even a smartphone, and it's only been a smartphone for maybe 3 years now.
Okay,
So, and
but
it's
you're
only
talking
because I
about
needed to communicate
you're talking
the
about
world.
the quote unquote
A
killer
late
app, and
adopter.
the killer app is the necessity that you needed. When I moved to California, I didn't have a cell phone. When I moved to California, the first thing was that I bought one because you're in the car all the time, and you need to kind of
Correct.
talk to people. But real quick, let me just read a couple comments here. First of all, on the YouTube stream, we have a great guest, a Linden alum, information chief, and his avatar name is Purple. Hey, dude, I tell if you want to tell people who you were at Linden. I don't want to give it away if you don't want to give it away, but he's watching the YouTube stream. Um, information chief, aka Purple, says ex Linden says we're a long way away from billions, even with mobile AR. Pokemon Go peaked 45 million active. So I want to throw
Mhm.
that in. Let me read a bunch of other comments that I find important. Iliastra is saying the Lumia viewer for SL now supports Google Cardboard. That is actually really cool. The Lumia viewer it's a mobile SL client that is made by, please refresh my memory with the name, by a resident. She's been doing this for a long time. It's
Hmm.
$2.99. Loki Elliott says, I don't read books. Kelvin says, I only recently begun reading paper books because Drax made me feel
Loki
inferior
can't read.
for not doing it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I just want to say, Kelvin, thank you very much. I've done my job to make you feel inferior. That's the whole purpose of this weekly program. Eric Mondrian says Joe is superhuman. And
I'm not.
Loki says,
You're a time traveler.
I spent over an hour
Exactly.
in a PlayStation VR game. I had to stop because my legs were killing me. So there's different opinions about the feeling comfortable about VR in the current iteration with the current headsets. Now, we already mentioned this. That we're talking primarily about HMDs and all this kind of stuff, and we're what made Second Life really stick and very successful, despite relatively small numbers. I would call it a huge success because of its sustainability. Is of course the
Was a
empowering
very successful. Yeah.
empowering people to really build their dreams. Now,
Yes.
quick question to everyone. Nadine, you said yes, building your dreams again. Flesh out a little bit your dream and what you built, and tell us a story about the importance of Second Life. What does Second Life mean to you?
Second life for me means to be, yeah, to be what you want to be, to do what you want to do. That's what
Hmm.
second life means to me.
Hmm.
And yeah, I said it literally did.
But what do you, if you could tell us what type of activities do you like to do here? I mean, is this? I remember the
At
first
the
thing
moment,
that really struck me when I came in was hanging out with a friend. I was in California, he was in Germany, and we were hanging out on the beach. And actually, I'm going to throw this out to the audience as well. What was the first activity that hooked you and made you stay? What was that
uh,
thing? And to me, it was hanging out at the beach, looking at the SL sunset,
The
and
nude
just
beach.
no, it was fully clothed, Arduin.
Of course, every noob types in nude beach. So
Swedish
that's why
envy.
they all go first.
Yeah, the first search. Okay, let me rephrase that question. What was the first search item you put into the search engine? Was it nude beach? Come on, be honest. No, but Nadine, what was the first thing that kind of got you and then made you stick? Because
the social,
hmm?
yeah, the socializing. I
Hmm.
used to stick my over my first year was kind of on a Dutch sim, uh, as the Dutchies called it, 0031 sims, 0031 sims. Yeah, that's kind of where I got stuck. And later it was clubbing, DJing, socializing. Yeah, and
Mumble
now, yeah.
beach.
On
Yep, Mumble Beach, that one as well. Yep,
Arden,
Typical
yep.
Dutch name.
uh,
Scheveningen.
Really quick before we go
Sorry.
before we go to Cube with that same question, Alina Livet. Alina Livet is the developer of the Lumia viewer. You can get it for 2.99 on the Play Store. It's only for Android. Also, let's see here. Eric was asking a question. I'm gonna post that later. The Dove Road said she stayed here because of a music concert. Real stayed because she was exploring Midnight City and great stuff. Now, Cube, why when you first came here, or you were in here with, I guess, maybe a different avatar from the very beginning. Um, why
No,
did you?
exact same actually.
Ah,
I
but
ask you a question because okay.
yeah, go ahead.
So, well, okay. Well, no, actually, I came in here twice in a sense. In 2001, I was running the San Francisco Web 3D group, and that's where a lot of this technology and a lot of the ideas were all coming from. I think for years I would see Corey at Macworld sitting by himself in the games area,
Oh,
who's heavy with a screen in front of him showing off Second Life, and nobody cared. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody cared.
Corey
Uh,
Andraka for the Noobs, co-founder of Linden Lab.
yes, and I would always say to him, it's a great technology, but you've got to figure out what it wants to be, and also why they would want to be using it, and as I say, it was in the games area of Mac World, so you could already see where people put it, and you all would say,
Mm.
well, it's not a game. But then, so by 2003, uh, it was actually in beta, earlier versions, and it was also running. And I would come back and look at it, and it was getting better, and it was in uh, some of the classes and SFFU and Pro and Beta, uh, and it was getting interesting. But again, remember, I come back from a place where there was 20 different platforms. I was working with a thing called uh, Axel 3D, which was really Unity before Unity.
Mm.
But
Was
by
that co-developed by
2006,
Axel Rose? Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
actually,
oh,
mine had
oh.
two young brothers from who used to be Soft Image guys, and that Soft Image once was a major 3D company. And so showed you in 5 years everything changes all the time. Uh, but quickly, by 2006, uh, the amount of people at Second Life who were in there as customers is what got me interested. So I took the Starbase C3 property and invaded. Hero Pendragon might be a name some remember. I
Mm.
literally had hired him to help take the spaceships and turn them into game ships that could shoot targets and help convert the IP that I had, including the pants that I'm wearing, which the texture map was actually done for other technologies into probably 1997 originally. Uh, but we converted it, and I came into Second Life with things to sell. So
Mm.
I saw Second Life as a market for role playing game or intellectual property creation.
Let
And
me
by
cut off you
2000,
real quick in a very rude Fox type way, as I mentioned earlier, because we want to move. Let me summarize. So this is an economic reason. You saw a market. You had something to make and sell, and that was the right fit. Nadine, it was the socializing. I'm gonna read here the comments. Hukuba Stratton says narcissism is a driver in presence in SL. That's very funny. Um, uh, Now, Strawberry, my question to you. We did this series, What SL Means to Me. It was actually originated by Ziola Linden, and there's a 30 something videos out there. Please, guys, look it up on YouTube. There's also on Strawberry's YouTube channel. I think there's a playlist with everybody in there. But Strawberry, when you first came in, when did you come in, and why did it stick? I mean, why did you stick around? Why didn't you just log out like the average person spends like 4.5 minutes in SL and then never comes back? Why did you come back?
Yeah. I actually first someone told me about it, a friend, and I logged in because I thought it was like The Sims. I wasn't a regular gamer or anything. I hadn't really done any online gaming or anything like that. So when I logged in, I was totally confused and I logged out for about 2 weeks. I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I actually did give up. But then I decided to give it another try. And then I don't know where I ended up. I ended up searching for something like South Asian because that's where I originate from. And I was trying to see if I can find some clothing or something. And then I ended up meeting a bunch of people from India and Pakistan, and just got friendly with them. And I realized the social aspect of being able to socialize with people across the world, and it was amazing.
I
And
think they
that just
liked
kind
your
of
name.
well, yeah. And I think that just kind of made me stick to it. But now, after so many years, that was back in 2007. I think the first year it was mainly socializing. But then after that, I kind of got sick of socializing online. I don't really do it much. Now I just log in and take pictures. Now it's more of a creative outlet for me where I can just, be artistic with the pictures if I want, or just talk about something on my blog. And it's kind of safe for me to do that. If I was blogging with my real life name and sharing my real life, um, about talking about politics and such, I think I would be make it a little bit more dangerous for me, because already I see the kind of backlash I get if I give any kind of personal opinion. I'm called all sorts of names, and already I'm getting, like, I watch my statistics so I can see what people are Googling and ending up on my blog, and they're trying to Google who I am in real life.
Wow. So this
So
is
in
interesting.
so the
D-
yeah,
I,
so
I want
this
to,
kind of
yeah,
is
go
the
ahead.
safety. No, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, no, this is what we are talking earlier about, because now you basically, if I were, if
Illusion of intimacy.
yeah, but no, no, but there is real intimacy in Second Life. It's not an illusion.
Ish.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ish.
I don't know.
Well,
I think
I think all of it is ish. And it's the internet. That's just, we're all mediated through a device. There's a
Yeah, but
mediation
sometimes
level.
that's better because, in real life I hate everybody, but in Second Life there are people I actually talk to.
you guys are
Funny, everybody
awful.
hates me in real life.
God,
Well,
what
that's a
kind of
coincidence.
Cupid joke? Come on, get our room. I no,
How
Wow.
dare you?
but but I have to slightly. I mean, first of all, I wanna ask Strawberry this question, but before I do that, when we're on the subject of intimacy and memories, I think there is a connection that is incredibly deep, and I want to read here from Donnie on the YouTube stream. A lot of lonely people in real life are surrounded with friends in Second Life. People with disabilities connect easier and learn how to deal with situations without a real confrontation. I've done hundreds of hours, if I put it together, in interviews with people who um, have connections that are incredibly deep. I have had tons of stories.
Amen.
I'm pursuing three stories right now, and Nadine was hinting at her own story. I'm pursuing three stories right now where people found their soulmate in Second Life. Yeah, I know the argument can be made, oh, you can do this on the internet. Why do you need a 3D world? My argument would be that the sense of presence when you identify with your alter ego is just magnitudes higher, and it might get higher as we did with HMDs, but I'm also not so sure about that. A lot of people go like, oh yeah, with an Oculus you can really feel that you're there. I've interviewed so many people who are on the crappiest of laptops. Their own avatar doesn't even res, and they would report
That would
that
be me.
yeah. Poor Arthur. Okay, let's collect some
Give it
lindens to get him a
time.
new laptop.
They're
All
just
we need
Uh,
level,
is time.
just
no,
levels.
okay,
It's
so but
level of
We're
you know
gonna do a
of
fundraiser
media.
for Aardman.
long story
Hey,
short,
I want a new computer too.
the sense of here, Eric Mondrian is saying there's a strong sense of immersion and presence even without headset, and that's exactly my point. And I think some people are so desensitized, and they need that stimulation, and it's kind of actually a sad thing. But I want to go on a different topic, because Strawberry was hinting at the fact that she's getting a backlash when she deviates from her fashion centric persona that
from
she
her
created.
from her like, oh, look how pretty I look today. No, but
Exactly.
if I actually share a valid opinion that I'm biased, I have an agenda, I'm leading people, and I'm all sorts of evil.
It's a
So, and
Yeah.
it's
conspiracy.
No, no,
And
it's your
I mean, all I'm
typecast.
doing is using my voice. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
No, it's I mean it's almost like some
How dare
actors
you?
who have sort of a political activism surrounding them. They're not allowed to voice their opinion because they're supposed to just act or be in movies. And I mean in the case
Right.
of what's his name? What's his name now? Jesus Christ, the super right winger. God, I can't
Jesus
think.
Christ, is a super right
No,
winger?
no, no, no.
The
Bart.
guy
Oh,
on Twitter.
No,
Is he on
no.
Twitter?
Yeah, he's an
Who's the
actor. He's
Which
in
super
every.
country?
right winger?
well, that
James
narrows it
Woods.
down.
James Woods.
Bill
Thank you,
O'Reilly?
James
Oh,
Woods.
God,
Exactly.
that guy, man.
So,
Is
Oh,
he
so,
an
James.
actor?
so in the
Yeah,
sense,
he's
Yeah,
on
he's
Twitter.
old.
when we're talking about James Woods, then that is one person who should
Right.
just shut the fuck up and just act, because he's a good actor. But
Well, we have freedom of speech. I mean, again, this is the whole,
we
the
we
issue of
don't,
this.
Q. In Germany, we don't.
Well, that's the point. I mean, that's one of
Liar.
the points of these virtual worlds is that we're all sitting in in a space together. We're communicating together.
A wonderful
And
space.
we have national borders still, and we have no media borders.
Hmm.
And media borders are becoming the only border is Facebook versus Google.
Hmm.
Corporate borders. Just to get where you're going. We just finished Silence, the movie. Give it a
Hmm.
plug. All about free speech,
Hmm.
and it focuses a lot. The finance that came from people who believe the alt right, uh, and it's just all about the idea of being able to communicate and not get in trouble. Most of the stories in the movie are people who lost their jobs for saying something on Twitter, either by mistake or by purpose, by
Hmm.
design.
I
Yeah.
well,
fin
that's rule number one probably in social media. Don't use your real name.
Yeah,
But
Or
that's not the
don't
rule.
say things you
That's
regret.
the world you want. That's a world that I frankly don't think works. A lot of people don't want to live in that world in reality.
Hmm.
And now, but social media is our reality. As you were all joking, social media may have just elected the first leader of the so-called free world, and did Brexit and what's going on in Germany as well at this point. I mean,
That's right.
uh,
It's a
democracy
good
and
learning
they
opportunity,
have
this.
problems together.
Yeah,
I,
don't do
The
it
joke.
again.
No,
That's
I
Loki's
mean,
telling
useless.
me to change my name to Raspberry.
yeah, Cube. Please
somebody
That
put
should
your.
fix it all.
So Cube was mentioning the movie that you were working on,
Tarkovsky
Silence.
never.
Put that in the chat, please. And I'm gonna have a separate show with Cube for the hour next year when we go back. This is again. Let me remind listeners, this is the year-end show. We're gonna do reruns until the end of the year, so we can take a break. But Cube will be back on the show and we'll be talking the hour. Your movie, I looked at the website, very interesting, but there are a few people who are, and I don't want to get into it this hour because there's so many other things. Um, there are some people who are known in the alt right that made that movie, but I may be mistaken. So we'll talk about that. Uh,
I was the art director of the movie, and believe me, there's nothing politically about me that anyone could ever call the alt right or right wing. And I was the art director. I literally, I sat there with the director and we worked on this movie. It's
mhm.
our movie, Lauren Feldman's movie. And again, I think you'd be surprised. What people call the alt right is like saying Second Life. No one knows exactly what it is at this moment. So
That's the
anything
thing
that
with the
you want
frog, right?
that's the thing with the frog, which Peppy the Frog, which is from a comic book that was being co-opted by again people playing in the 4chan groups, which have
With the
also
people
great
with the
back.
stiff arms.
But they all have, they're all from Second Life. I mean, 10 years of Second Life has been the prototype for what went on Twitter and what's going on in the politics of the United States right now, and also other countries.
Hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with things that you're taking for, that like anonymity and the things that went on. Uh, I suggest people take a look at the Wired State, and even though she was called the troll and all these things in Second Life for 10 years, the enemy of Second Life was Prokowski Never, Catherine Fitzpatrick. The truth is that everything that she wrote about has come true in real life from the prototype of Second Life. Second Life is the prototype for the next 20, 30 years of the planet Earth in
Oh,
social
then we're
relations.
screwed.
I hope
Uh,
so.
I,
I
Oh
I
well,
my
I
should
think
have
God.
really I should have
Do you have
really,
enough
We're
prems?
all doomed.
I should have
Yeah,
really
I'm
I
gonna
think
go with
so.
invited
bunker.
guys. Sorry, let me jump in here. I should have really invited Prokofy for this discussion. Let's just say what is referred to as the alt right. I slightly disagree. I mean, it's very heterogeneous. There's people with a lot of different opinions. I encourage folks to listen to On the Media from WNYC. They do a fabulous analysis, which does the diversity in that movement justice. But to me, frankly, yeah, I have a big problem with what any of these people suggests is sort of acceptable in terms of dealing with other human beings of a diverse nature. Um,
I only suggest that from some of the inside information I've learned is that many of them are actors more than they are ethicists.
Oh dear. Well, as someone who's worked in film and television, I generally run away from actors.
if you're
I
saying,
understand.
I find it trouble the I find it intensely troubling that people enjoy uh, throwing or put just sort of starting fires and then see things burn. Um,
I
People are just being
agree.
rude.
I
Yeah,
actually
I
No,
have
don't
more.
this
Let,
understand
let
why
me say one
everyone's
more
so rude
sentence. Let me
these
say
days.
one more sentence real quick. I actually have more respect, and I say this in quotation marks, of someone who is has an ideological conviction versus someone who just says things to kind of rile up emotions. Um,
to please
I know,
anyone or
I know that
I'm
I'm
not sure if
old-fashioned
someone
and
says
born in
that
the wrong
when
era, but
black
I
people
just
are
like to.
sort
I'm
of
just wondering why people
inferior
aren't polite anymore.
genetically, says that is somehow pleasing people. That's just there to bring up
no, it's crazy.
emotions.
It's crazy talk to you and me. It does please a certain group of people, and if their agenda is that group of people, to use it for whatever their agenda is with those people, group of people, they do it. Again, I think again the reality of what they're saying is crazy talk. Uh,
Hmm.
but they have an agenda. A lot of their agenda is basic. A lot of their agenda was to become famous.
Hmm.
And that's literally it was more about being
Like serial
famous.
killers.
Loki, I think this
Well,
is the
some of them, yeah.
Loki. Please put in the URL for the Adam Curtis movie about the Jesus Christ. The title escapes me now. Loki, just put it in. Loki's in the audience.
superstar. Oh,
No, no, no.
There you go. Jesus Christ Superstar. Perfect.
The latest Adam Curtis documentary, Hypernormalization, I think
Right.
is a must watch in that regard. If we do live in a world where it is primarily about getting famous no matter what, then we're doomed. I think mankind could be aspired to a little bit more. But then again, I'm saying this while Strawberry Singh is arguably a famous SL person, and Iliastra just asked me if people who are unfollowing me uh, feel like, or if I feel like I'm muddying my brand, and this goes back to Strawberry. I think along the lines what I talked to
Not at
Strawberry.
all.
Right, exactly, and we talked about this sort of
If
offline.
anything, yeah,
I
someone
think we have
recently
a
accused me of
responsibility.
having an agenda. Now,
Hmm.
someone recently accused me of having an agenda, and I totally have an agenda. I want my agenda is I want to get rid of the readers that have that kind of hatred and racism and bigotry and misogyny inside them. I don't want them reading my blog, getting my giveaways, playing with my, interacting with me, and those kind of people just kind of disgust me. I'm not talking about everybody that voted for a certain person. I'm talking about certain individuals, and I've never once called anybody racist or anything in any of my blog posts. But yes,
Same.
I'm definitely trying to turn away those people that, I just don't want to have any kind of interaction with them because
Hmm.
to me, I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, but to me, they're at a certain level of, sociopaths, and they have no compassion or human, I don't know, kind of decency.
Well, well,
And
the irony is in the real life you didn't have the tools to always shut them up. On the internet and in Second Life and through virtual reality tools, you can shut them up.
Yeah.
So that's really
Oh,
the world we live in.
Oh, I wish
that's
I
the
had a mute button in real life. Why don't we
yeah,
have a
but
mute button in real life?
Nadine
A
Linda
mute
is
Lab,
button
do
in real life
something
would be
about
great.
that.
Na-
That's Jesus Christ Superstar.
Nadine is
yeah,
Nadine is
but
getting
that's
in here. Nadine, go ahead.
yeah, but that's the thing here in the here behind the computer. People are not afraid, and they think they are not supposed to have limits.
Well,
And
they're also just badly brought up. Because, you
Well,
yeah,
know,
I
plus
think
I
they
have.
don't care that they hurt you or something like that. They just
who's to
Well,
say
don't
that we
that's a
care.
aren't?
society thing because, you know, I disagree with people on the internet all the time. I have very heated discussions with them, but I
At 3
always
o'clock
remain
at night on
civilized and
Twitter.
decent. Yeah, because, you know,
Ardu.
that's how I was brought up. That's, you know, you're not
Well,
rude even
Yeah,
if you're anonymous. Just
yeah.
behave
I
like a
tried.
civilized person.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
try
Otherwise,
you
to
I'll
allow
do
nuke you
that.
in the face.
Yeah, I try to stay nice as well when people are getting rude. Unless there's a bottle of wine, then I might get angry.
there you go.
I think that's
That
Prokofie's.
changes everything.
When I read,
Drunken bar fight.
yeah, that's how I always perceive Prokofie's blog post. Is like, wow, there's some really kind of in-depth analysis of also really kind of complex political situations, and then it gets increasingly crazy. I'm imagining Prokofie sitting there, and then the bottle gets emptier, and then she goes like, ah, fuck everybody. So
Doesn't drink.
Language, Mr. Drexler. By the way,
I
talking
met
of drinking,
Prokofie a
there's
couple
a
times
nice
in real
bottle of
life.
absinthe here in front of me.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
or
nice.
if someone wants a can of Brondo, it's got electrolytes.
Okay, please give me one, Arden. I need to drink here.
You know,
Okay, let me read a couple
It's
comments here
it's
from the
it's what
YouTube stream.
plants crave.
Quiet, my
Oh,
friends, quiet. So,
I'm not a plant.
Jesus, talking
It's
about
a thirst
Jesus,
mutilator.
Jesus PG
Who?
is in the YouTube stream, and he says, I got into SL after watching the Oprah documentary Live 2.0 in 2010. I've been active ever since. I tried to get into SL before, but he was 13 at the time. It's funny, the Life 2.0 documentary, I got into a kind of a fight with the director Jason Spingarn because I find it incredibly exploitative, and really taking advantage and sort of going on with cliches. So you can find Life
I agree.
2.0 on YouTube. I think it's readily available. Um, Azri Falcone is portrayed in there, and it's such a cheap shot where she's seen as this glamorous avatar, and she has this store in world, and then it cuts to her sleeping on a mattress in her mom's basement, with beer bottles around and stuff like that. Now, thi- this is
Yeah, I saw that.
right, and but I know Asri personally, and one of the facts that was cut out of the film, it would have been very easy to put that in there. The reason why she came back home was she had to help out with her father who had health problems, and she was actually in college, and she came back to help out, and there was no room other than in the basement. All right, so
But that's all about editing.
exactly, Cube, and that
That's
to
why I
me,
said editors are important.
Sensationalism.
yeah.
But that's what I was saying when I said that I've seen the future of VR. It looks like 80s television. What I meant is that VR is not reality. It's a mediated medium like television or film.
Yay, Blackadder.
It means that it's under the narration of its creator, the agenda of its creators, and if its creators are the art, we're all right now under the agenda of Linden Labs, of their application, of their interface. That's how we're communicating. That's how we're being mediated right now. I'm sitting right now. I'm laying on a futon mattress on the floor.
Oh my
Actually, as
God,
we speak right this moment.
Cube, this is just too much information right now. I'm
I'm
sitting in
I'm
my
living in my parents' basement.
I'm sitting in my underpants with my beer belly hanging over the keyboard. I gotta make sure that I don't knock over the wine bottle. No, but
Right.
So Joe was
But all
right.
of those are real life media,
I've got
or
40
real life
cats.
imagery. You know, like I say, we delude ourselves into what we want to believe.
no, but
That's why, again, I don't like. I feel kind of odd when we talk about cutting people off and censoring and using these tools to do it when you have no idea. Where's the prince if you didn't kiss the frog?
but my
Story.
but I
If
would
again,
but I would stipulate, and again, this is to me, my work in here is about really focusing on these aspects of of exploration and also dreaming. What is wrong
Right.
with living a life like episode 38 with Ebony Khan, where we tongue in cheek, I say to Ebony, "Oh my God, this is escapism. You're living in these virtual mansions," and she says, "What's wrong with this escapism? What's wrong with wanting to play this glamorous life? There's nothing wrong with it."
I
And
didn't say there was anything
I
wrong
know you
with it at
didn't, but
all.
right, it just irks me, and I know you're not saying this, but it kind of hit me with the interaction I often have with journalists who dismiss role play or dismiss
Reading
the
books is also escapism. Watching television is
Because
thank you.
most
escapism. Watching a movie
remember
in the
Yeah.
now,
cinema is escapism.
most
There's
that's
nothing
right,
wrong
and
with
most
it.
reading comic books, watching too much TV. These were things that, for most of our modern culture of the 20th century, now or early 21st century, were considered, not good to do per se. Even if you read books, you were a bookworm. You were in your own imagination. Why aren't you out playing with the friends? I
Hmm.
mean, these are our cultural, you know, baggage. And the question is how will that change with this medium? And again, we were talking about, where's VR going? Forget about billions, millions, whatever the numbers are. The point is that just as the cell phone is in lots of people's hands, and the laptop was in less people's hands, and the tower even less people's hands, uh, this technology of immersing ourselves in these, again, mediated three-dimensional immersive realities are just going to be all over the place in the next 20 years
And
with
that's
all the,
And
yeah,
one of the few good things about this terrible world we're living in is that the worse the world gets, the easier it is will be for us to explain why we're hiding in VR.
yeah, and that is actually something, having sort of now just defended escapism. I find actually that that it coincides with Trump and right wing movements in Germany and elsewhere, and the availability
And
of VR
war
and check exactly
and
and constant war.
terrorism.
Uh, People checking out completely, that actually does scare me, because and Kelvin was adding this earlier here in the local chat about kids brought up not to be nice and all this kind of stuff. uh, it's a long-winded way of saying that I think there's a huge failure of public institutions that led to Trump and led to the right wing movement, globalization also, and all this kind of stuff. But now that we have very soon VR for people to just completely disengage, and again, let's not forget the American election, 90 million people didn't vote, so they have checked out of stuff already. It's going to be
right.
incredibly easy for people to even further disengage. And that is a negative aspect of this wonderful technology that is super scary, right?
I don't know. It's always been like this. I mean, even in Victorian times, if you
I don't
wanted
know,
to
but
even go live in a barn.
the order of
But surely
magnitude.
Second Life and other virtual worlds would be some
Right.
sort of reflection of real life too. I mean, all the movements we have in real life, certainly they would just uh, be in here too, and we'd
But
have the
remember,
same issues and discussions.
I meet more people in Second Life than I do in real life. I mean,
Joe,
Victorian times
you're not the
have the
only.
in
issue of,
Amsterdam, in real life, I live in Amsterdam. I go out, walk my dogs, and I do shopping. That's about it. So I talk to a cashier, and I'm usually telling her to, behave properly. And, that's about it. In Second Life, there are people I meet every single. There's no avoiding them. They're drunks. They come to my bar every day.
well, there's a bubble. You live in the real world creates, how economic things that create a bubble. Mobility things. I mean, you mentioned
Yeah.
again. One of the whole issues I'll mention about you talk about disability and people who are disabled who use Second Life to enrich themselves. The whole point is that this medium, this Second Life, or any interface, what it does is it brings everybody into the same level. So that if you're the act, it's the movie The Incredibles. To be honest, it's everybody. It takes if you can't run, you can now walk. But if you can run at 60 miles an hour and be the fastest man in the world, no, you could only walk at the pace that the programmers wrote the application for you to walk.
Mm.
Okay, everybody's walking equally. So, but it's under the rules of that interface, of that mediation, of that company, of that owner. So it's a catch 22. What happens when that interface is now limiting people? You say we should be unlimited, but now if we grow up only within the interfaces of virtual reality, we are limiting ourselves
Good
to
point.
things that we could do because we're limiting ourselves to whatever the next version of the SL browser is.
But this is not some. It sounds a little bit like it would be a conspiracy to stunt people, but it's more a technological limitation for now.
Not
And
No, no,
but
no,
that's
no,
conspiracy,
no, no.
great
without
proving thing.
This has to do with the way capitalism is structured. Now we're entering a whole nother aspect of this discussion. What
Oh
Cube is
dear lord.
no, what Cube is
we're
saying
Oh
telling
my
you
god.
is incredibly
Gonna grab
valid.
for the bottle here.
capitalism.
Zo gaan
Capitalism
we
is
het krijgen.
capitalism is just the economic model that we're using now, but it's how media works. I mean, the best time,
But
the great thing
you're talking about platforms and the restrictions of platforms. Now imagine a platform
that's
that is actually
media. Television is
yeah, but what if media were owned by the people, like some public media?
well,
Um,
PBS is. I mean, there are
yeah. Now,
public access television things. I love that we're now they don't exist public access the way that it used to 20 years ago, 30 years ago in New York and San Francisco and
yeah,
L.A. Because again, they privatize. I mean, I'll be honest.
that's what I'm
The
getting at.
greatest
The
problem I have
privatization.
with Trump right now is the privatization mode. I mean, again, I'm from America. I'm of a certain age. I'm 52 years old. 53. I don't even know. My birthday was a week
You don't
ago.
look it.
Thank you. Well, remember my hair is this is my avatar from 10 years ago. My hair is now
Oh
grayer
You
yeah.
than
look
the brown.
you look very
Uh,
2005, and that's a
Thank you.
compliment.
Uh, I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah,
But
Keep your
again,
working
He's
journalist.
old school.
No, no, wait, but Cube is
there's
going. I mean, this is an important stuff. I mean, I think I agree. I think I know where you're
remember
going with
the
this.
80s is all I'll tell anybody who's in this room because
I remember the 80s. It was awful.
if we're lucky,
I
if
knew
we're
that was
only
coming.
lucky, and
I remember
believe
the
me,
70s. It was even worse.
I was in art school in New York in the 80s. We were not fans of Ronald Reagan. But the worst that Trump, if the best that Trump does is become Ronald Reagan 2.0, will survive. If the worst that he does is become you know who,
Hmm.
then we got a problem. But the point is that I see a lot of the media, not getting the fact that that's really what's just happened
But
here.
of course,
Is that we
because the
just
media is completely, the media is not biased. The media only has one bias, and the bias is money.
money.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's true. But that's because of the hyper capitalism, not just capitalism, but hyper
Yeah,
capitalism.
I
Just
agree
like
with you. I'm not
socialism.
against.
I
I'm not
mean,
against the strive to make to be better, make money, be successful economically. I'm not against that at all. But the
well, this is
privatization
why
that you're mentioning is the root of all evil. Let me say one thing. Kelvin says here in the chat, do you think Trump won in part by leveraging apathy and disgust with the system? Yes, absolutely. That is a big part of it.
absolutely.
And it plays always in the hand of an authoritarian figure. They one aspect is apathy, that people are just have given up to an extent where they go like, what's the use? I'm trying to survive here, right? So it's a feudal
That's
system
what
in that
happened in
regard.
Second Life. People left Second Life when they got fed up
Good point.
with the totalitarian system of Lyndon. That's why the numbers aren't the same as they were in 2008. Well, people came in for different reasons, even if it was to do business or the education. Look at the education market and what happened in Second Life. Okay, they left in disgust when the totalitarian system of the platform. They they all went to Open Sims hoping to do something with
They were
education.
hoping to make a lot of money with it,
No, the
but
price hike
Some
was an
of them
issue.
were making money. Some whatever their agendas were, it was opposite of the agenda of the corporation and the investment stockholders of Linden Labs that control this medium, this platform, and that
but a lot of
prototype.
companies came in and they thought this was going to be big, just like VR, and
Well,
they
I was
bought
one of them.
Sims and
I
they
brought them in.
weren't
I was
really
Is this
sure
VR?
what it was all about. Yeah.
Yes,
well.
yeah, it is.
But
VR
that's
in
part of
VR
the.
right
It
now.
was jumping the bubble.
There's always people who have nothing interesting other than just their own desire to be part of something and to get rich on the gold rush. There's others who are true believers. I
Mm.
mean, there are very few. I'll make a comment since I'm still very active in the VR world. There are very few people in the VR world. I just came from Digital Hollywood. They have no idea what Second Life is. I'm
Right,
in
you
front
you
of the.
posted about that when you
Mhm.
gave a talk to them. That was hilarious when you were talking to them. They
But
were
it's
like,
but
what
it's
the hell are
true,
you
and it doesn't
talking about?"
sound in Los Angeles.
Right.
I speak about VR. I'm meeting Los Angeles right now is VR crazy.
Mm.
I mean, the amount of money and the silliness from Hollywood and media companies, but they have no idea what SL was. Any of your experiences in SL, never they have no idea. So and let's be honest, there are half a dozen companies creating social VR right now
Mm.
with millions of dollars invested in them from people who also
Yep.
have no idea
No
what the
clue.
experience of
And they're
Second Life.
all making the same mistakes and all reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
And
Well, that
High fidelity.
if you then go on social
conversations.
media and you tell these people directly that what they've just invented, you've been doing in VR for over a decade, they
Okay,
don't like
the
it.
time
They don't like it.
Guys, please hold that
time
Yep.
thought.
some
Let me
published
throw,
Like
truth.
Apple
please
people talking to Windows people.
hold that thought
We
real
had the same
quick because
discussion.
I want to read some comments here because information chief, aka Meta Linden, I stayed in SL because of deep personal relationships developed in SL, and that was before I joined the lab. I know hundreds of people who establish deeply intimate long-term relationships. I just want to read through some of the comments before I forget. Nexi, and then we continue that discussion. Please hold that thought. We're going to go over time a little bit because Loki said this is the best Drax hour ever, and I know why he said that because I'm relatively quiet. Right?
That's
I'm
true.
I'm talking less than
Is
usual,
that
so
why?
that's good.
The best moderators are the quiet ones.
I put a Mickey in his drink. He'll be sleeping soon.
So
That's
you
not the
need
Bill
another
O'Reilly
glass of
model,
wine.
Cube. Sorry.
Just keep drinking, darling.
Keep drinking. So Nexi says, stay in SL. Personally started out because I'm awkward and wanted to make games. I came for the technology that allow my dreams of game dev and stayed for the people and friends I made. Information Chief says also my own story. Many of my friends is similar to Artfuls. To you, Nadine, living our lives in our actual gender in SL has led to confidence and determination to change our real life avatars. I encourage folks to watch Drax Files 31, by the way, which has a very quick cameo by Veronica Stidwell.
And number two.
A great story. Yeah, number two is about that annoying woman from Berlin.
Oh, not
Um,
her again.
so, couple more comments. American Horror Story Ranoki says, "Hello, fellow SL users. Is that Strawberry Sing?" So here's a fan of yours. Yen says, "UBS just jumping with my iPad. Great points around the table." UBS, isn't that bank that got? Anyway, I don't know what people are talking about. Here in the local chat, we have a couple of comments.
The
Um,
delivery in the United States.
no,
UPS
UBS.
delivery.
No, not UPS.
Oh,
UBS with a soft B.
Ubs.
UBS. What other comments do
I
we
think it's
have?
bank
Um,
corporation.
yeah, we don't have any more comments that are of value. Jesus Christ, guys! Why don't you why don't you guys post a little bit more
That's kind of
cerebral
offensive,
stuff?
Drax.
I know, Strawberry. That's my brand.
So
I'm
rude.
offensive.
Why are you such a hater?
Exactly, Strawberry. I'm a sore loser. Why are you such a hater? Uh, but
I know.
Strawberry,
Hate
You're
is
a loser,
good.
Drax.
There you go. That's how you fix it.
but
Hate
Strawberry,
is good.
but Strawberry, on a
Mhm.
serious note, because you've been posting also about the increase in, well, mildly put
Prim limit?
no, decline in public
Oh,
discourse where people
Prims.
oh yeah, prim limit. Wait a minute,
Prims.
is this about
Why
SL?
aren't you talking about prim limits?
I don't
Why
know.
aren't you talking
Mm,
about Second Life, Drax? Come on.
Instead
You know,
yeah.
of
Sorry, go on.
1,800
Finish
okay,
your
prims, I've now
question.
got
y-
3,000
What's
prims.
Second
Prims
Life? What is
limits.
that?
okay. So we're going over time. Let me ask the audience here: what do you guys want to talk about for the next for the last 10 minutes? Because then I gotta run out and get into real life
I
and put
feel
on
bad
a.
now. What were you asking me, Drax?
I don't know where I was going. I have no idea.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
Fine.
god.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Why were
You
you
want to
in the
talk about
cell?
punk?
That was a general question,
What
I
do you
think.
got? What do you guys want to talk about?
Prims.
Would
Well, I
like
want to
to.
talk about whatever I'm
Wait,
Prim
thinking about
limits.
every 3 minutes.
Arden wants to
Do
talk
it.
about what he's thinking
But
about.
when are they going to kick us all out and make us go to Sansar and pay all money again?
So you're not no
Never.
friend
Oh
of the
my
lab.
god, Sansar.
Oh, here we
They're
go.
never going
Nadine,
to force us.
stop. Let's
They're
Huh?
start
going to
with
try and
Nadine.
lure us.
Quiet, quiet, Joe. Nadine,
What?
what about Sansar? Do you have Sansar anxiety? What do you think about it? What do you know about it? Are you excited? Are you
Um,
I have
in?
zero sensor anxiety.
I have no idea what to think of it because I mean, if you have to start over and everything, then I'm like, you know what? I'm staying here with my inventory.
Hmm.
I
Fool me
mean,
once.
we spent tons of money in our avatar and land and everything, so I mean, to start
Right.
over,
Hmm.
Amazing,
no.
isn't it?
What
No,
I'm worried about with Sansar is, I mean, I like creating things, and there's been a tremendous evolution in the creativity in Second Life. It started off with very simple primitives, and
Yeah,
then it evolved into sculpties, and then there's real mesh now. Um, but as things
Mesh.
advance in technology, uh,
Mish.
you need people want more detail. It's just more and more work every time. And I'm just a
yeah.
little bit worried about Sansar that ordinary people will have a really hard time to get to create
It
stuff
is
that's
already a
really
problem in
up to.
Second Life.
But
I can
that's
Yeah,
not
mention
but
the
that.
stated goal. The
There's a
stated
big
goal. le-
a
but
steep learning curve for making mesh already in here.
yeah,
I
but
know what you're
didn't
saying, Arden. But let me say two things real quick. And again, I mean, this is I'm not taking any sides. I think the points that you guys are making are very valid. But it is, and I'm just repeating this what the lab says. They are saying that they want to create with Sansa a VR creation engine where everybody can be at the table. They want to level the playing field when it comes to creating social VR experiences. So I have
Yeah, not
I
building.
So they actually shifted. I think their goal first was to make Sansar Second Life 2.0, but I think they
no,
What will
shifted
the
it to
they've
terms of
being more
services
never
be?
said
fantasy.
that. They've never said that. This is an interesting
I
myth that
think I
So
I
heard
if they're
Apple
going to
say that a
level
few
the
years ago.
floor, what are the terms of it? What are the terms of service? The only reason I came to Second Life is because I convinced them to let intellectual property stay with the creators. It
Mhm.
wasn't Lawrence Lessig; it was Lawrence Rosenthal. But that's the thing that we came out of the SF Web 3D group when Second Life was being used by almost nobody in
Mhm.
2000s. So what's the new Sansar going to be? In other words, if I bring my pants into Sansar, do I own them?
Mhm.
They changed the terms of service so that I don't own my pants anymore.
Yeah,
But I did when I came in here. I owned my
I hate it
pants.
when that happens.
that's a big
For
issue.
anyone who's going to high fidelity now, be wary of whatever you import in there. That there's no permission system there whatsoever. Yeah,
It's
not yet. I
right,
think not yet.
and it's
they
a
have to
big
reinvent
issue.
the wheel there too.
But
Yeah.
that's the big issue here again is how Silicon Valley is sort of as a whole forcing a model on people that is sort of enriching a few and is sort of just transferring all sorts of intellectual property rights
The, the
to
term that
platforms.
Prokopsky came up with, I agree, techno-fascism. That
Yep.
was the term that was used coming out of the Second Life experiment, and poo-pooed by so many, including people in Second Life. But that is the scare.
Yeah, I
That
don't
is
disagree with
where
that.
tech,
I don't
where
disagree with that.
technology.
It's a big issue, but I do think I hope that with Sansar, there will be very clear communication that they want to empower folks so that they can monetize also their
I hope so.
creation.
Just to let you all know that I mean I really haven't been in
Sounds like
Second
Second
Life
Life 2.0.
years. But for four
Arjun.
years, I was building things in Open Sims
Hmm.
and trying to do business using Open Sims as a platform. Because again, I had the rights to my own work. But again, there was no bubble at that point. VR wasn't interesting. There was a trough of disillusionment, the second trough that comes, where there's nothing going on in terms of the outside corporate media. Well, now again, what people are doing is, for their own personal reasons or creative reasons, or using it to supplement other things. But for people in the business of 3D media and in technology, As I say, you opened the discussion today talking about the bubble of VR that's been going on probably about 2.5, 3 years now in earnest.
Mm.
You
Uh,
know, and
Listen, Cube, I don't disagree with you at all. I just want to say that, first of all, there are people who make their livelihoods with SL creation. And this is a whole different discussion. We can discuss how they came there, what are the parallels with real life. Some of them had, a good starting point, were ahead
right,
of others right from the beginning. So it's in that sense it mirrors real life. Real life is very unfair in the sense that you can't say, well, this guy didn't make it because he's lazy. No, they didn't have the same starting position. One guy, has his leg tied
they were
to his
they were
elbow,
called the
basically.
fetid in their claw for a reason. I mean,
Okay, but
the original advertising Sherpers, the corporations that
yeah,
raise millions of dollars to do projects or to do work. Lots of them were excellent employees. Whoops. I mean,
that's
that's just reality, but that
yeah.
is the story.
It's almost like a Trump administration bringing in people that you
Uh,
know.
just like a Trump
No,
administration.
but let me say one thing here real quick because Loki says, and first of all, Marianne McCann reminds us that the SL 2.0 myth came actually from Hamlet Wagner James Au, who regular listeners know. I'm not a friend of his, to put it mildly. Loki Elliott says Sansa will be about buying, buy, consume, and then not create but arrange. Uh, but Loki, first of all, if you want to comment, how do you know that? And isn't Second Life also showing us that given the opportunity, if the opportunity to everyone is given that they can create, most people choose not to create but to consume. I mean, is this
But there,
something?
there, there,
Yeah.
there are no building tools in Sansar yet. Proper building tools where you can really make stuff like we have here in Second Life. And, Ebba said that they'll have those eventually.
They'll
But
have to
at the
reinvent the wheel
moment,
first.
yeah, at the moment, Sansar is just arranging stuff that you buy from other people,
You
from
guys are
people who
judging
make
this from the 2, 3
secret
presentations that
information.
he made. No, no,
And
wait
we
a minute.
haven't even seen it.
Yeah,
I have little
That's
birds
a
sitting
shame.
on my shoulder telling me everything.
listen.
That's a shame. Then they won't. They can't expect the growth pattern they had with SL, and if that's true, I
I
mean,
think it's a way. Okay,
it just
let me because I'm the moderator. I want to end the discussion about that aspect of Sansar because we are speculating based on 2, 3 public appearances, and I think what we should do is to
I'm not.
listen very closely what they're saying in a more in-depth forum in very long interviews, where Ebbe has stated in the last 2 years in many interviews that they want to be the WordPress of VR, where people can, yes, they can use templates, but they can also go deep inside and create their own experiences if they have those skills. Now, I want to say one more thing and then I'll shut up and then we have a closing round. um, Arden was saying earlier that it's a huge learning curve with mesh. You're correct, but that learning curve arguably with VR, and that's why I'm enthusiastic about VR input devices like controllers. um, there's a bunch of examples where creation is going a route of very intuitive creating by basically painting in mid-air. There's several applications for the
Yeah.
Vive. Um, there is Tavori, which you just grab stuff and you paint on the ground and you create an entire world just by basically sculpting. There's Oculus Medium. There's Tilt Brush. There's more and more things are coming online. Codon is an application where you can create figurines, you can animate things. There's a thing called Anyland that's kind of like a Second Life for VR in a way, where you can also create just by using the controllers. So I think that in the
Yeah. But
future
it's
we
still
will.
the
Go ahead.
level of quality is very comparable to the prims you were able to make here in Second Life in 2003. It's totally not at the level of what people can create
I,
in Mesh, for instance, and sell at the arcade or whatever, um, gacha event or clothing event or so. There's such a big world of difference, and I've seen Abba do live demonstrations in Sansar of arranging furniture
Arranging.
and grabbing things with his controllers,
The
and
IKEA
it actually
simulator.
yeah, it's not
IKEA
at
Oh
the
my
simulator.
god.
level. It's not up to level of what we have in Second Life right now, even. So.
Arduin, I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
What they need, the golden ticket for Sunset to become a huge success is two things. One, a fantastic avatar editor, because that's one of the things in Second Life that no one else has. The extreme, freedom of making your avatar exactly the way you want it to look,
Getting your own
and
boobs.
a way to build in-world
Jesus.
proper, good-looking
Never leave
mesh.
the house. Yeah.
I
Okay.
never leave that.
Right. So let's just
Oh, they
say
have.
we have little information
They have
about
to-
Sansar, and we'll see what happens. And Marianne just says Marianne perks up to the mention of the arcade. And let me just say the next Drex Files video, which will
It's
come
full.
before Christmas. Now this is the year end show podcast. We're gonna do reruns. So this is the last podcast for the year, but there will be one more Drex Files video that are of course much more labor intensive than just inviting a bunch of drunken friends on a stage.
Hey, I'm not drunken. yet.
Sorry, except for
Try harder.
You're not
My bottle is still closed.
Nadine. I'm really
Oh my
shocked.
God, I
Your
drink
lack
this
of
much
commitment.
already?
Your lack of commitment, Nadine, is shocking.
I
Where's
just
the-
want to
Oh
mention
my
that
God.
since you mentioned the arcade, I think right now the arcade is proof, living proof that Second Life is doing great. Second Life, it's not the end of Second Life.
For
This
shoppers.
This is the golden era.
For shoppers
still
and the
full.
arcade and people who go into the arcade
it
and
has
people.
2 sims now. And it's
How many days is
completely
it open? When did it open?
Yeah,
Second
Days
day.
ago?
About
Second day,
Match.
it's still full.
What's the arcade?
See,
Never mind.
Cube. Let's go to the
Go for
arcade.
Oh my
That's
god. Yeah.
But that's what
Hey,
I,
but,
that's what I don't get.
let's-
People keep saying, "Oh, Second Life is dying," but look at everything that's happening. Is that we're getting bento, we're getting more prims. We have all these events and different things going on. There's hunts
No.
and shopping events. and-
Yes.
And I've got
It's
this
definitely
place.
Joe is doing incredible work on different sims and all that kind of.
Exactly,
Second Life
yes.
is so far
You can
from
time
dead.
travel here.
Within
Yeah,
2
exactly.
months, this sim was paying its own tier.
What is with that Joe
Just
Admiration
blowing my own
Society
horn.
crap? All right.
Well, you know you're an honorary member, Donnie.
Next thing you know, Joe will install some gotcha vendors. Yeah, you know.
I need some.
Yeah,
I need some
definitely
glue
not
vine.
dying.
Yeah,
And I
so
think
I'll have
that-
to look into that.
Folks, nothing is dying, and that's beautiful, and we're here. But there's also an outside
We're all
world,
dying.
and things are happening.
It
And
lives or dies with an accountant's pen.
SL it has been dead in the media for a long time. So what
Well,
did
you
I
know,
want to say?
that is the good thing about capitalism.
and-
As long as Second Life is making Linden Lab money, we don't have to be really worried. They're not going to
That's
kill us
true.
until they start losing money.
Or as long
That's
as journalists say, Second Life, is that still
Oh.
there?
Loki is reminding me to go to violin practice. Thank you, Loki. He's my personal manager. Oh my God,
Oh, yeah.
Loki! How do you know this? Are you
Personal
reading my mind? I actually gotta go and
Well,
supervise
you are
violin practice.
oversharing.
Yeah,
Always.
I'm an exhibitionist. Thank God that I'm not sharing a
Ooh.
photo of me sitting in my underpants.
Too
Uh,
much information.
what I want to Marianne says, I'm a community person. To me, Sansar lacks people coming in from all over the world doing their own thing, making something greater. Marianne, I'm a community person as well. This is why SL is so important. But Sansar is in a closed alpha testing stage right now. We have no idea where it's going, and I think a lot of people then kind of compare it to High Fidelity, which is already open and on Steam Early Access. There's a lot of chaos. It's already been trolled. Britbong trolled the welcome area already. I think Philip hasn't
tried
learned
that
anything.
one, High Fidelity.
Ah, yeah?
And my laptop didn't allow me to run it. I
Ah.
installed
Right.
it and bam, crash. I was like, okay, goodbye.
Is it still too hot? It's too hot of a technology jump to get into for most people still.
From
Same
what I've
problem.
seen
Isn't that a
so
deja
far,
vu?
Sansar looks better than pretty much
yeah.
all other VR experiences that I've seen so far, especially
Yeah, that's
social
true.
ones.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you know,
the
I mean,
High
for
Fidelity.
us in Second Life, it's not that impressive because we can look at the footage and think, well, we can sort of do that in Second Life. But compare it to everything else that's outside there at the moment. I mean, they've all got fun gadgets. I mean, High Fidelity's got things that Sansar hasn't. But when you look at the graphics, Sansar is looking pretty sweet.
Yeah, then let's
Loki.
hope their
And that's
servers don't
that's
get
important.
overload.
All right.
Well, there's
Nadine, are you sure? Are
there's
you sure you're not drunk yet? But
drawing, there's art direction, and there's and there's pixelation.
If you're in Second Life, you always need a new computer anyway.
so okay, I'm gonna end this show. We gotta end when it's the most fun. That's what my mother used to say.
Let's do
She
it again.
actually she just knocked on my door and said, "What are you
Yeah,
doing so
sure,
loud in your
okay.
basement? Stop it right now." Um,
In German.
Drax, dinner is
Was
ready.
machen Sie denn im Keller?
Was ist im Keller los? Bitte Ruhe
machst du
jetzt.
da?
Ja, die Nachbarn sind schon aufgewacht.
Kopf.
Es ist zu
That's
spät.
right. What when
Glühwein.
VR gets out of the basement and into the penthouse.
Ich muss meine Ruhe haben.
Ich muss jetzt meine Ruhe haben. Es ist spät in Deutschland.
Kartoffelkap.
Ist von Kopf bis Fuß auf Liebe eingestellt.
Ich bin von Kopf bis Fuß
I know
auf
nothing.
Liebe eingestellt.
Oh yeah, God bless him.
Das
passed
ist
away
meine
yesterday.
Welt. Sonst
Last
dann.
words. Anything from the audience? Strawberry, what are you going to continue tweeting your propaganda?
My venom? Yes.
Yeah.
I
Causing
have an
trouble.
agenda. I have an agenda and I have to keep at
Well,
it.
Strawberry, I will keep following your agenda.
Ah, the love is in the room. Well, Merry Christmas. Actually, wait a minute. There's a war on Christmas, so happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Sorry.
And thank
Happy
you, Drax.
birthday,
It was
baby
fun.
Jesus.
Merry Christmas, all of
Happy
you.
holidays.
There you go.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I don't know when I'm going to talk to you guys next.
And you know what? Happy Res Day, Avatar Drax Files. Please put on his profile. Isn't that interesting? It's his Res Day, or maybe I
Is
don't
that
know.
today?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
No,
the 20th
Is your
of
Res Day
February.
no, not mine, but the Drax Files avatar. There's he's
okay.
very lonely.
Oh, okay.
He's never in
Birthday.
world.
Aww. Poor
Happy
guy.
birthday,
got no
baby Drax
friends.
Files.
He was born December 2nd, 2013. He's not even online right now. I mean, in world. Sorry.
What a coincidence.
Yeah,
It's my
weird.
mom's birthday today, too.
Oh,
birthday,
happy
Mom.
birthday, Mrs.
birthday.
Singh.
I'm going to have cake tonight.
Oh.
You lucky
Gonna
sausage.
finish the other half of my bottle of vodka too then.
Okay, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks audience, and thanks
Thank
YouTube
you.
audience. Do we have any?
Let's do this more often, Drax.
Yeah.
This was
This
fun.
is fun.
What do you mean, like?
That was good
Ah,
chops.
I know. You guys
You
think
know, having a Drax file, recording it live.
you
Can I come
guys?
back and share more of my propaganda?
Cube is
No.
undressing. Now we gotta really end it. Look,
Oh my
Cube.
god!
Oh my god, it's happening.
Just
Thank-
a
This is
Yeah,
a,
my
this,
sister
this,
had-
this is a G-rated sim. I will ban the art.
Thank you, Cube, for ending it the way it all started, with middle-aged men dressing in Santa underwear. This is
Well,
Second Life in a
without
nutshell.
nudity.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be Second Life without people dressed in Santa Claus. All right, I'm
So
gonna
you
end.
called
for
it
striking
Happy
subjects.
Holidays. And it's
Hap-
the only outfit I had in my inventory that was Santa related.
It's
Cube, are
awesome.
you
Uh-huh.
taken?
Sure.
What?
Is Cube taken?
Cube is Cube.
Oh, this is getting
You gotta look
romantic.
at his profile. You know, you said
Okay, let
you
me
see-
see. Oh, yeah,
look
that's
at his
true.
profile.
See.
I think he's
Get
staying.
a
Ah,
room,
it's not
and
part
not
of
in
it.
my sim.
Good.
Okay, good
Go get a room
night,
in
guys.
another sim.
Good day, and have a great weekend, guys. I'm gonna end the broadcast.